Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 111.
Yes.
111.
It is May 28th, 2012, and it is Memorial Day here in the U.S. So before we go anywhere, we would like to thank all of the troops who have in the past or are currently serving to help protect our freedom.
There you go.
So I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
I love how that is stressed.
I have to make sure I introduce myself as the correct person.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And so welcome to the Knit Girls. So why don't you tell us what you're working on?
Sure. I have a secret project first, which I'm not talking about. It is for my Rebecca Danger monster swap. So in the Danger Craft group, they have a swap going on for fairy tale themed monsters and critters and things, and I'm participating in that. So that's what I'm not showing.
And your upstream partner contacted me, and she has an excellent idea for you.
That is awesome. I've been watching a movie that I'm basing hers off of pretty frequently the past day since we've been home. But I'm also filling time so I can get to the end of this. But anyway, I'm super excited to be involved in that. This is my first swap in that group. And there are, if you want to see some really
they take
cool
things
monsters,
seriously there, man.
you need to go check out that group. There's some awesome,
Rebecca has a creative
stuff.
group of folks over there. I'll give them that.
They are pretty cool. Anyway, I am knitting the Little Shells shawl. And it is looking like that so far. It is by Holly and Ella Knits, and I'm knitting it on size 8 signature needles. We're in a different place, by the way. We're at my house because Leslie's ear is not working in the knitting room. And this is what it looks like. And what I'm knitting it out of is the hand spun that, oh, now it's a tangled mess. Not really, just on the outside. The hand spun that Leslie spun that we are, isn't that pretty? The Tempted Gradients hand spun that Karen dyed.
And then I spun.
And then Leslie spun, and I am knitting, and it was 360 yards. And what I did was I went on Ravelry, and I went to their advanced pattern search, and I typed in the weight, which is kind of a DK, and the yardage, and said, oh, I want knitting. I don't want crochet projects.
It's not going to work for you.
Nope. And I picked free or already in my Ravelry library, and this came up, and it is a free pattern. So that's how I located this pattern. I love that advanced pattern search feature on Ravelry. I also put accessories. I didn't want any baby sweaters because I was getting a lot of cool baby sweaters at first, and the queue might have grown a little bit. But this is really
not great for baby sweaters.
No.
Well, it might be.
It would be lovely, but it might, it's not machine washable. So.
Yeah.
Yep. I love, and I'm going from the dark on the inside to the light on the outside. So there's a pattern detail, like little shells, lace on the outside that's going to be in the lighter color, and the base stockinette is going to be in the darker color. I'm super excited. So that's what I'm doing. I just cast that on today. What are you up to?
I'm still knitting on my thin ice. I kind of feel because this is a Laura Linneman pattern, and because the textures repeat themselves in a certain order, I'm on my last netted section here.
Cool.
And then I have a little bit of stockinette, and then I have a textured section left, and then a little bit of stockinette in the bottom.
How much yarn do you have left?
So this is my fiber optic hand spun that was plied with
Miss Babs.
Miss Babs in silver, and this was Fiber Optics Mad Monet. So this is how much I have left. So it's maybe 150 yards.
You can always abbreviate the pattern if you need to.
I might just skip the last textured section because
You don't like the textured sections.
I don't like the textured sections. I like the way they look. I just don't enjoy the process of getting that texture. So I might just skip that and just go do stocking it and then the ruffly kind of border. So that's how much I have left.
Cool.
Should be plenty as long as I skip that textured section. But I knew I was going to be short anyway because the pattern calls for 800 yards.
At least 800, and a lot of people run over. So.
And I had 790 before it got chewed. So I probably only ended up with 760 or so after it got chewed, and I have all these ends that I have to weave in that are here in the back. So yeah, So I'll
So you'll
probably
weave
just
in
take
those ends and then block it, and it'll be awesome.
Yep. I hope to have it finished by next show because this is the only thing I'm working on.
Yay!
Yes.
We're both one. I mean, I'm two because I have the secret knitting, but showing one work.
Monogamous, yeah.
Kind of monogamous. Monomina.
Now that was a Muppets thing?
Yes.
For those of you who don't know the reference. So what about finished objects? Do you want me to go or would you rather go?
I can go. I'm almost at the end of this row, so I can set it down. So I have quite a few finished objects. So for those of you who don't know, I am free and clear from work. My last day of work was last Wednesday.
For the summer.
For the summer, yes. Not forever, but for the summer, I'm out. So my last day of work, official work, was last Wednesday, but Monday, Tuesday were half days for the kids. So while I spent a lot of time working, I got long lunches and I got a chance to knit. Because lunch for me is typically 10 minutes, if that. So I have a lot of stuff. So the first thing that I'm going to show is I'm in the Harry Potter house and crochet house cup. Harry Potter.
That Harry Potter thing.
That Harry Potter thing. Harry
Potter knitting and crochet house cup.
Yeah, there we go. And they're doing for Quidditch, and I've never participated in Quidditch before.
I did once.
But for Quidditch this term, hey cat.
Hey,
There's going to be
Humberto.
a cat that you might hear. He was chasing his tail in circles earlier. His name is Humberto. Anyway, for Quidditch, they had you doing mini socks, and I chose to do some baby socks for my niece. So I was looking for worsted patterns, and our good friend Susan B. Anderson has a pattern called Jelly Bean Socks. Jelly Bean Baby Socks. It's on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. And it uses Spud and Chloe. And I had this much Spud and Chloe scraps in my scrap basket. So this worked out perfectly. So there they are. And they're cute and rolled over. I'll unroll one so you can see how long they are. So it's like a 3-inch cuff. And it's just an adorable, cute, free, quick pattern. I think I knit these in maybe 2 hours this afternoon. So super cute. And they fit up to a 1-year-old. And the pattern goes to a 2- and 3-year-old size as well. So if you're looking for a last minute present when Christmas comes, this might be a good one. So these are going to go to my niece. They're actually going to match a little.
Alice, right?
Yeah, for Alice. Julia just turned 3, so these wouldn't fit her. But Alice just turned 6 months. So those will fit her for a while. And I have a cute little smock thing that
I will do that now.
A cute little smock thing. Mine's all the way around the corner.
If it starts going crazy, we'll get up and turn it off.
Okay, so that's the first thing. I'm going to set those down there. The second thing that I finished was the By the Sea Chalette, which is a pattern that I'm designing using Unwind Yarn Company. It's going to be exclusive to SSK, and then it'll go on sale that Saturday night after the market's over. So, and this is using Unwind Yarn from Unwind Yarn Company. And it's done and blocked, and actually it went with us to Middle Tennessee this weekend, so after it was blocked, it's been folded up and thrown around quite a bit, so.
It's holding up quite well.
It is holding up quite well. Alright, why don't I go turn off my phone, and you,
Is that all your FOs?
No, I have 2 more. Well, I'll finish up.
Okay.
I'm just afraid it's going to go crazy. I guarantee...
Somebody's updating and our friends are group texting.
Somebody's updating our group
So Lynn,
text.
Diane, Jessica, Roe, it's one of y'all.
It might be my father though too. I finished the socks on a plain socks. These use size, so the baby socks were on size 7 using Spud and Chloe sweater. The Unwind Yarn shawl used size 4s and it uses yarn from Unwind. She's going to have kits available in late June in her shop, early July. After SSK is open.
These are your 7s. You said 7. I remember that I borrowed yours.
I had a little mini panic attack earlier, y'all, because I went to get the signatures for the new shawl that I started, this one right here, the size 8s. And I have all my signatures in one case, and like my 6s, my 7s, and my 9s weren't there, and I was like, crap, where did I lose them? But the 6s are, remember that zigzag shawl by Kristen Kapoor I started forever ago? Ziggity. They're in that. And then Leslie had my 7s, so I'm just missing I'll have to locate my 9s. I'm sure they're in a project somewhere.
I'm sure they are.
Anyway, socks on a plain uses size 1.5 needles, It's going to be a free pattern on Ravelry. As soon as I get the ends woven in, these blocked, and Leslie comes over and takes photographs, then it will be up on Ravelry. It's there now if you want to queue it, but the pattern's not there, the project pages. So, and I love it. This is the barking dog and the opposites attract in the, it was one of the Jane Austen colorways.
It was
Darcy and Elizabeth.
Yes.
So very cute. I actually like the green one better than the blue one. We're not telling.
But don't tell the blue one.
No. And then last but not least, I'm going to go fast because the Texan's going to drive y'all crazy if not. There is Lala Simple Shawl. This was out of some hand spun. Some Frabjous Fibers hand spun, knit on size 10 needles, and this is going to be a gift for my mom. So
it's very sweet.
And I'm doing it as part of my knit along in my group, but also the gratitude cow that Fat Squirrel Speaks is doing. I'm doing it for hers too.
Didn't you give your mom your last? No, that was the Clapatee that you gave her. The blue.
She knit her own Lala Simple Shawl quite a bit ago. It's huge. It could wrap around you, me, and my sister, I think, together. But it's such a great pattern just for hand spun or
You're so
anything.
humble.
Yeah, well, I'm not the first person who said that.
So I have one FO, and Laura's going to desert me while I show you all my FO.
I have to move the fiber from between my legs.
And we're in a different place, so the lights, hopefully they don't come tumbling down.
Only if I knock into them.
So, as a testament to, gosh, this feels crazy talking to a camera by myself. I don't know how these single podcasters do it, because I don't know, I feel crazy doing it by myself. Anyway, a testament to the Erin Lane bags. This is one of her sweater bags, and I can close it, and it is holding an entire sweater. It is heavy, and it is full, but it is holding up quite well. I'm very happy with her bag. So, in here is my palmed pin. And I used 5 full skeins, a little bit of the 6th skein. I only had to break into it for the button band for the size 45 or something. I can't remember. Anyhow, ends are woven in. The only thing that hasn't happened is it hasn't been blocked and I don't have buttons on it. I'm still calling it done. I'll show you all again.
I have a coupon for buttons at Joanna if you need a coupon. We can go button shopping tomorrow.
So anyhow, it is done. And I love it just as much as when I was knitting it. It is fantastic and turned out really well.
It looks great on you too.
It's got a really interesting collar with it coming up in the back and joining. You're actually looking at my graft right there. And then it's got the button band that goes around. She uses a really simple button band for placing the holes for the buttons. If I can find one. There we go. So there are 4 button holes on the button band. Anyway, it's hard to see, but I'll take some pictures at some point this week, and I'll be able to show y'all next week on the show. But it's warm right now, so I'm not going to put it on. But anyway, it is beautiful, but it is not blocked, so I have to kind of stretch the stitch pattern out for you guys to see it. And again, this is Palm to Pin by Amy Christoffers. And I know I'll be knitting more Amy Christoffers sweaters in the future because her pattern is beautiful layout, beautifully written, charts are great.
I love it when that happens.
I know, it's great. And this is out of Barocco
Vintage DK.
Thank you. Vintage DK in the green pea soup kind of colorway. So yay, I have a sweater that's done.
You have a finished object,
yes.
And it fits and it looks good.
So I will take pictures at some point this week and share them with you guys. Put them on my project page and maybe I'll put them in next week's show. So yay, finished object.
Yay.
So speaking of finished objects, we didn't write down Stash Dash. We'll talk more about Stash Dash in the favorite things. Here, I've got a pen.
I need a pen. Because otherwise, if I don't put it on there,
yeah,
I'll forget.
I know, I'm the same way. I have only a couple of obligation crafting things for the rest of the year. I have to finish Karen's Even Star. I have to do squares for the TheKnitGirll's Afghan Square Swap. And then I have to knit whatever Laura spins. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Not what I spend, what Karen spends.
What Karen spends for SSK. And aside from those 3 things, I have no obligation knitting for the rest of the year, and I plan to keep it that way. I'm not knitting for Christmas. I may knit one or two things and for very close friends or family, and that is all. I refuse for the rest of this year. I'm not doing any more obligation crafting because I've got enough going on in regards to obligations that I'm going to revel and enjoy the fact that if I want to cast on a sweater, I can, and I don't have to worry about that I need to finish X or Y first. So,
There you go. Yay!
And we both have spinning.
We do.
So the stuff that we both have we'll show at the same time, but why don't you show your autumn house and we can show our class
You
stuff
said
together.
obligation knitting, and that reminded me that you released a pattern this week, so I had to write it down.
Okay.
Alright, so the only big spinning I did this week, besides when we were at the festival this weekend, was I spun on my drop spindle. So Thursday night I was teaching a Ravelry class at my local yarn shop, and when that was over, I drop spindled a little. So I know, y'all, it doesn't seem like it's growing a whole lot. I feel the same way. But there it is.
It is growing. It's just...
It's a slower
It
process
seems like it takes a
on
little
the wheel,
longer,
which
yeah.
is fun. And it's going fine. I'm actually enjoying it. And I'm thinking, actually, I might go for a walk tomorrow morning and take this with me and drop spindle as I walk. Because now that I'm home and not doing anything all day, my exercise level has kind of like...
Yeah.
Because I will sit and spin all day if I have the choice, for the most
But
part.
you're spinning on it a little bit every day or a
Yeah,
few times a
just
week.
a little bit.
And that's what you have to do. I mean,
Yep.
that's the way you get better at something.
It's lots
Not
of
that
fun.
you need to improve, but anyhow.
There's always room for improvement.
You did some cool core spinning.
I did. Well, that was... So we went to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Arts Festival. And the last night that we were there, Saturday night, I had bought some bats from a local vendor to us.
I can't remember their name.
I can't either, and I don't have that information with me, but they are local to Memphis. It's two people who are in the Memphis Spinning Guild. And so I had bought two, like, 3/4 ounce bats. They were selling bats for $5 a piece, and they were 3/4 ounces, which is not a whole lot. So this is less than 2 ounces. But I core spun.
On a mohair single,
Yep,
right?
on a mohair base. So over some cone mohair. The
And that
two
was
bats up.
that Chamberlain gave you.
Yes, that Chamberlain graciously gave me. She gave me 2 cones of mohair. So it's still kind of damp because I gave it a bath this morning. But there's that. It's going to become a baby hat, I think.
Yeah.
Because
cool.
it's fun. I'm knitting up. I'm trying to core spin more, a little bit more recently, and knit up some samples for the class that I'm teaching at SSK.
Yeah.
So you can actually see what can I do with that. So lots of fun. Still a little bit damp, but that's been about it for me for spinning this week. Besides what we did in classes.
So I want to talk about the stuff we did in classes and then show something that I did after the classes. I'm just going to throw my sweater on the floor and hope Umberto doesn't
Good luck with that.
kill it.
He'll be fine. He's wanting to go outside right now.
So let's see. So the class that we took with JC Boggs was amazing. And if you ever get a chance to take a class with JC,
Let me show you all her book.
jump on it.
So we're talking about JC Boggs, who has the Spin Art book.
She also has DVDs. The first is called Sit and Spin, and that was self-done. And then she
There's
has
a DVD that goes with this
a DVD that Interweave helped.
called Spin Art. It's
Produce.
actually, if you buy the book,
It's in the back. I
it's
think.
in the book.
Yeah.
Right there.
She,
Got my book autographed.
yeah,
It says it's okay to be a little bit twisted.
which is good.
It was funny.
She was a great teacher, and actually, Laura suckered a ton of people into a class later this year with JC.
I'm super excited about that.
Yes. So the first thing that we spun was it rhythmic thick and thin?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's rhythmic, thick, and thin. So it's evenly dispersing thick spots and thin spots. So it'll go from a thin to a thick to thin, or a thin to thick to thin to thick.
But
to
evenly
thin.
spaced.
Yes.
So I had a brighter color than Laura did. I don't know how that happened, but this one, I liked this technique. This was one that kind of, once she explained it, it made sense to me.
I struggled with it because I've been doing a lot of long draw recently, so it uses a different type of draw
Yes.
than what I've been doing, so it kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. I had to kind of retrain my fingers.
Yeah, it uses the short backward draw. And then, I can't remember what this one was.
There is it called, it's not push, but, hold on. I have notes.
The shove it up the orifice, Maggie
It's not,
Casey?
that's Maggie Casey.
Okay.
I love that. It's not shove it up the orifice. It is bigger bite, thick and thin.
Okay. So her bigger bite, thick and thin. Mine was slightly overspun, but only slightly, which I was pretty happy with. We have the same color here.
Yep.
So this was kind of getting you more familiar
so it's
with.
Pretty quick, thick to thin to thick to thin to thick to thin.
So that got you a little more familiar with the drafting methods. And then the last was how to get an even bulkier yarn,
Yep.
like a consistent bulkier. And bulkier is relative. So if you're typically a cobweb lace spinner, then your bulky could be a sport weight.
I totally forgot I butterflied this and just tried to unwind it. That's okay, I can wind it back. So that's mine.
And then I used two different fibers. One was combed and one was carded. I had better luck with the combed than I did the carded. But anyhow, so this was, it was a single that I just plied on itself. So it's not the most balanced thing ever. But it did help me learn the technique to get a more even, bulky yarn.
And then why don't you talk about what you did when you got home?
Which was the whole purpose of me taking this class, besides just taking a class with JC, is that I really wanted to learn how to spin an even, bulky yarn, because it's a common complaint among spinners that as you progress, you lose the ability to do thicker yarns. And she really helps you get past that. So when I got home, I had gotten the bat from Johanna at Ever Improving Me. She was sharing a booth with Rue of Moonwood Farms.
And Spotted Circus.
And Spotted Circus, yes. Elizabeth. But anyway, I bought this, and it's called The Princess in the Forest, and I left the tag at home, but it's like a merino, tencel, and something else blend. And it was 4.15 ounces, and it was separated into two bats. And so I just spun each bat separately as a single. And I got a really, really well-balanced, bulky yarn. I think this could actually, it would be qualified as a bulky.
Oh, definitely.
And out of 4.15 ounces, I only got 88 yards, which is kind of about where I was shooting. I didn't want to get more than 100, because I really wanted it to be bulky. And I'm really, really happy with this. It's lofty and airy, which is something I haven't been able to get in my spinning because of the way that I draft. I'm a worsted spinner versus a woolen spinner, by nature. But I'm really, really happy with this. I think it turned out wonderfully. And Laura said
I think it's gorgeous.
that I should knit it into something, and I said no. I just want to look at it for a while. I just want to, squish it and enjoy that I did it. And I really want to take a bunch more of my bats and do this now, because
I think you should.
it just makes me happy. It really does. And it smells like soap, which is nice. But yeah, we got home. We didn't feel like recording, so it maybe took me 2 hours to spin and ply this. I did not let the singles sit overnight because I was impatient. And they don't seem any worse for wear. But yeah, I really, really am happy with it. I'm excited to be able to spin bulky yarns, and thank you, JC Boggs.
She's a wonderful, I really, really highly recommend if you can get a class with her. She is very scientific with her spinning, and I love that.
Yeah, well, and she's approachably so.
Oh yeah,
Not
definitely. She's hilarious.
Yeah, she is. And adorable.
So we had a great time with her.
Yes. So, and we both did some supported spindling.
Yes, we took a class so that was our morning class, and in the afternoon we took a class with Flegel.
Yes.
And you have her book.
I do. We both fell and bought her book. Typically, she just wrote this book, Flegel Spin Supported. And if you buy it online, it's like $30 or some odd, but it's a flash drive. And it's everything that's in the book, but it also contains videos and interactive stuff, and it also has a file on there that you can actually take to your local Kinko's or FedEx and print the book, and she gives you permission to do that for your own purposes. But I really wanted a physical copy of the book because A, I can't really have her sign a thumb drive, and B, she only printed 100 copies.
So when you order online, you have two choices of ordering two different versions of the book. You can just buy the thumb drive for however much that is.
$30-ish.
Or for $100, you can get the thumb drive and the hard copy of the book.
The hard copy comes with the thumb drive as well, which is how you access the videos and all that. So I had her sign it, of course. And I'm half of her favorite podcast.
I wonder who the other half could be.
I don't know. But it was a great class. She, if for nothing else than to be able to try out her huge variety of spindles. She has almost every kind of supported spindle, more than I'd ever heard of. And she's freely lets you play with as many of them as you want and gives you information as to why one might work for you versus another one wouldn't. And it was very...
And the different types of spindles, the Russian versus the Tibetan. That was great information. And I was having problems. I've been having problems getting my spindles started, like that first part with the leader. So she had me do it on several different spindles. So it was hot, don't get me wrong, because the air conditioning had kind of stopped working at that point where we were. And it's very thick and thin. But I got all that done.
Which is awesome.
And I had also tried out Glendale, and which I really love, a Spanish peacock. This is a Neil brand. She has two different kinds of spindles, a Neil brand and a
Deerfield Creations.
Deerfield Creations. So I got to spin on both those, and it was just a really, really great experience.
Yeah, she's very funny, very funny and approachable, and she's I don't know, like I wonder sometimes how she got to where she is, just because she's got 2 PhDs. She spends half her year in Japan teaching, embroidery. She's got this like very rare certification in Japanese embroidery. In fact, she's the only U.S. citizen who's ever been granted this certification. So she's awesome to sit and listen to stories, but with just listening to her, you learn stuff. And I really enjoy it.
I love the fact that she plies on felt balls. That was totally new to me. That was very cool.
Yeah. So I am spinning on some Lunabud knits, and I don't think I have the tag. I think I showed it in my bag. Anyway, this is some Lunabud knits fiber, and it's 100% merino, and she sold them by the ounce in a rainbow of colors, which was great. So I grabbed 3 or 4 different colors, and I started spinning. And right now, I am having more success spinning on my Deerfield Creations spindle than I am on any other one. And it might be the type of whirl, it might be the weight, it might just be that I'm more comfortable with this particular spindle, but I'm having more success on my Deerfield Creations spindle than I am on any of my other ones. So it's been nice and thin for the most part. I have some thick and thin spots, but it's nice. It's relaxing to sit and hang out and spindle without necessarily having to drag along your wheel all the time. So anyway, Deerfield Creations is on Etsy. It's Lori of Flutterby's. She makes these spindles.
Yep.
So that's our spinning. I kind of feel like I've been talking this whole episode. We have a book review. Is that all of our spinning? Yes, it is. We have a book review. Do you want to do a review of the book?
Are you asking me to talk versus you talking?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is California Revival Knits.
Just needed some clarification there.
And it's by Stephanie Tallent, and it's put out by Cooperative Press. So we got the e-copy, and I took it to our local FedEx, and for $4.99 they put clear front, black back, and spiral bound it for me.
Yep.
Recommend that very much. So Stephanie sent this to us, and she's Steph Cat on Ravelry.
So again, this is California Revival Knits. It is a Cooperative Press book. If you're not familiar with Cooperative Press, they do a lot of working with designers to do books that might not be published otherwise.
And it's run by Shannon Oakey, Knit Girl.
So there is a wonderful table of contents, and the table of contents has all the pictures, and it also shows you kind of what inspired the book. The book is inspired by California Revivals type architecture.
Yes, everything from the homes to the pottery to the rugs. It's just the California Revival style. And she talks, there's a whole first chapter that's dedicated to her design process, and it talks about how she gathered the inspiration, and the inspiration for each particular item is discussed on that pattern page. But
and there are 15 different patterns in here. Yep. There's the whole design process. The first pattern is the peacock mitts. And you were talking with Spotted Circus. This is what this reminded me of. So Spotted Circus, who has some yarn and fiber, she was telling us about her peacocks and how she got all these peacocks and then half of them immediately ran away. So that reminded me of this. What I love about this book is if you are into matchy stuff, there's at
a lot
least
of complementary
two patterns
pieces
that complement each other. So I know there was a recent person who was kind of complaining on Plurk a little bit that there has been a lack of stuff published recently that would, like a hat or a cowl that matches the mitts. So the first thing she has is the peacock mitts. It uses Elemental Effects natural Shetland fingering.
And it is knit flat, stranded knitting, and intarsia. So if you wanted to really challenge yourself for like a Rab Olympics project, that would be an excellent pattern because it uses so many techniques. But she explains really well how to accomplish the techniques.
And each pattern is rated for difficulty.
So this is the peacock cowl, so it complements the mitts. And it is knit primarily in the round, I believe.
Yep.
Yes. And
with some deep stitch as well.
Yes. So
duplicate stitch.
She has accessories and sweaters.
This is the peacock shawl. More peacocks.
Yeah.
One low price.
Yeah.
So, and this uses Blue Sky's alpaca silk, and the techniques used in this are lace knitting
and grafting.
So simple lace and grafting.
So it's not quite as much of a bite as the peacock shawl.
I really love this undersea garden cowl. It, I think, would be gorgeous in some hand spun. There's a fingering weight version that uses Bijou Basin yarn, and then a lace weight version that uses knit picks. So on that note, there is a lot of indie yarnies in this book, which I love.
Diversification.
And then there's stuff like Blue Sky alpacas and knit picks, which is very, very cool. And you can see both the lace weight and the fingering weight version. I love it when they show both versions. That's very cool to me. And nice, big, clear charts. So you can see a little bit of the charts. Nice and big. We like that.
I'm just going to skip that joke and go right
I know. I thought it, and then I was like, yeah, that's kind of okay. All right, and then there's your Stair Steps Tam. This uses multiple skeins of hazelnut artisan sock, but we were thinking that it would be wonderful if you had, maybe it uses a fourth of each, so 100 yards left over from a pair of socks. This would be perfect.
Now, it would be beautiful in all these colors of hazelnuts, but it's also expensive that way. So if you have leftovers from a sock or whatever, this would be a good way to match it up. And it has a complementary pattern
of mitts.
Of mitts, yes.
Just stop folding this back over in itself because I'm never going to.
And they're called the Stair Step Fingerless Mitts.
And they come in a variety of sizes. There we go. I need to hold. It's like I've never done a book review before. And then I love this sweater. It's the Rot Cardi, which uses Dragonfly Fibers Blue Face Worsted.
And it goes from extra small to 3X.
So it's 30 and 3/4 inch all the way up to a 55 and a 1/4 inch, which I love. It does have quite a few charts, but it's really, really pretty.
Actually, I really like that the designer models a lot of these things. That's nice.
Then there's also the Rot Mitts, which use Stricken Smitten BFL and silk fingering in a fingering weight.
And they're mirror images of each other, so.
Very pretty. I think that's what caught my attention when I first looked through the Ravelry project page for this. A Rot Beret to match the mitts, and you can even use this more as a beanie if you just don't block it.
If you block it a different way.
Quite
Flat versus over a plate. And this last pattern is the one that I think grabs me at the very beginning. The Quatrefoil Fingerless Mitts, and she also has instructions on how to make the mittens.
And that uses Macintosh yarn Sky Sock, which I think both of us have in our stash. So very, very pretty.
And that's just uses knitting in the rounded stranded knitting provisional cast on and short reading. So I really liked that one as well. I like that she mixes up her techniques. That's really cool. And then in the back, she's got
a little biography of all the yarns used, which is really, really neat.
I appreciate when they take the time to write about each one of the yarns, whether or not they're an independent company or independent dyer or a company. So,
yep. So that is California Revival Knits by Stephanie Tallent.
So we want to thank Cooperative Press and Stephanie for sending us this book to review. I know I will be making those fingerless mitts if nothing else.
And you can find that book on Cooperative Press's site and also on Ravelry.
And you can do it as a download straight to your library on Ravelry if you like.
I love that option.
I do too.
All right, well, we went to the Middle Tennessee Fiber Festival this weekend,
Which is
in case
why
you didn't hear. Because, well, we went for Friday and Saturday to the festival, but Sunday, the festival was only an hour. It was in Dickson, Tennessee, which is an hour outside of Nashville, give or take a little bit. So we spent Sunday at Scarrett Bennett and Vandy, where SSK is going to be held, just doing some last minute double checks and making sure everyone was on the same page and just trying to make it perfect. Yes.
So, and then we got home and it had been hot and we were tired and
it was like 98 degrees.
I think I went to bed
yesterday.
at like 7 o'clock last night. I needed to catch up on my sleep because we had fun while we were in Middle Tennessee and hung out with people late into the evening. So
I'm glad we did the hotel for the 2 nights just so we could kind of chill and not have to drive home right away and worry about leaving at 5 o'clock to make our first class at 9. So some favorite things, we've already talked a little bit about the classes that we took with JC Boggs and Flegel, and they were wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I'm going to do the goodies that I bought, and Leslie's going to do her goodies for the most part that she bought next week.
Yeah, I brought a couple of the things that I got, but because we're recording at Laura's, I had to bring the lights and the camera and all my stuff, so I didn't bring everything.
She's using the same excuse I always use.
I'll show you guys the rest of it next week, and we have stuff to give away, but it'll be next week. So,
prizes.
Yep.
Okay, so the first step that we really made was with our good friend Rue, who has Moonwood Farms, which is wonderful. That's where I get the big ass-kicking bats all the time. She didn't have any of those. She actually just sold her double-wide Carter and is going to get an electric one soon, so that's super cool. But she had lots of other goodies. So the first thing that I got were these awesome alpaca locks. So it's 2.5 ounces, and I love the packaging on this because you could actually feel
without having to get into the
lock.
package.
So I'm probably going to comb these or card these and really, or I might just spin them straight from the lock and just, they're so soft. Ruza had alpaca at one point and is very active in the alpaca community. I think she still might have alpaca, I'm not certain. But these are just absolutely gorgeous, and I just want to roll in a bed made of alpaca locks.
Okay.
There you go. They are undisturbed, fully intact locks. So very, very cool. And it's from a farm, Magical Farms in Litchfield, Ohio. So very, very pretty. So that was the first thing that I got. The second thing that I got from her, she had these cute little bats. How could you say no to that bats? So this is a Jacob bat, and I'm planning on support spindling this. It was just 1 ounce, and it was only $4, and it was just cute, and it had some buddies, but it still smells farm fresh, and it's just adorable. So I've been wanting to try Jacob, and I figured this was a good way to do that. And then last but not least, I got some hand-painted alpaca roving.
I really wanted some of this, but I did not.
And it is super soft and squishy and just amazingly awesome. So I cannot wait to spin it. So those were all from Moonwood Farms.
You could spin that bulky without having to do any separation.
And it was a U.S. fiber, U.S. milled. So I love that. It's a cottage
actually has the name
industry.
Of the sheep at the back.
Oh, Julia. Oh, it's Julia. How could I resist that? So I didn't even see that before. I can't even pretend like I did that on purpose. But it's all made U.S. fiber, U.S. milled, and she has that tag on there as well. And if you're interested in Rue's stuff, she does actively post on Facebook mostly, but she does have an art fire shop as well. And you can find more information about her at www.moonwoodfarm.com. You can see that at the very bottom of that.
And I convinced her to sell me. She was using this fleece for a class, but I convinced her to sell me a little bit of it because I was like, surely you're not going to need the whole fleece. So this is 6 ounces of raw alpaca locks. And I'm not typically the kind of person to get raw fiber because, let's be honest, there's no way I'm going to process it. I'm just not. I don't have the time or the inclination. I enjoy working with combed and carded fiber, but I don't want to have to do it by myself. But literally, I picked this off of the fleece, or the skirt.
And alpaca is a little bit different. And this had already been skirted, but alpaca doesn't get the
grease, like the sticky feeling. It's dusty versus greasy. But just pulling this out, it's just so nice and fluffy. And look at the crimp on that. Isn't it beautiful? I am so in love with this. And it's so, like, whoever...
It's very clean for not being washed.
It really is. I mean, I pulled it off of the skirted fleece. So it's beautiful. And I cannot wait to spin it. And so soft. So I'm excited about it. I'm not sure what I'll do with it, but I'll definitely will spin it because I want to get the best that I can get out of it. But I really am happy about that. So I got a little bag of that.
A little bag. 4 ounces.
6 ounces.
6 ounces? Oh.
So, anyway, so that was what I got. I did get other stuff from their booth, but I left most of it at home. I'll show you guys. Well, I mean, one of the things I got from that booth was the Ever Improving Me bat. But I do have other stuff I'll show y'all next week. You got more stuff.
I did. Let me get past these 2 stitch markers. This shawl actually, as written, doesn't have stitch markers, but I have to find middle stitch. Like it just
center
says,
stitch, yeah.
Knit to the center stitch, and I will just knit the whole thing if I don't have stitch markers. Those are like my speed bumps.
Yeah.
At that same booth, I got, let me pull out the bat first. I got a bat from Ever Improving Me. And I kept like walking past it and then walking back and then walking past it. So it is called Grapes. It's one of her imp bats. 3.9 ounces of wool, alpaca, silver hologram Angelina. So I'm not certain what I'm going to do with it yet. I don't think I'm going to core spin this one. I think I'm going to actually 2-ply it so I can get some awesome yardage out of it and do something fun. But really, really, really pretty. You see, the monitor is not doing it justice at all. It's just absolutely like a grapey purple. It reminds me of wine.
Yeah.
So it's just with the flecks of silver.
Some beautiful bats, Ever Improving Me. It was really hard to choose.
And you can find her at
those places.
Those places.
I know she has an Etsy shop, everimprovingme.etsy.com, I think.
She's got an art fire.
Art fire, okay.
And she's got a Ravelry group, so I'm sure she would be happy to see y'all over there. And we're going to have a giveaway from her next week. Super excited. And then in that same booth, man, I fell down hard in that booth.
Every time I was looking for Laura, I had to go back to this booth because that's where she ended up.
I got something from Spotted Circus.
And that's Elizabeth, and she has the peacocks.
So funny. She's hilarious. If you ever have time to spend time with her. And she's spottedcircus.etsy.com. And this is When Aliens Attack. And my guilty pleasure from this past week is I have been watching a show that's kind of a spin-off of Bone. It's based on another book series called The Locator.
The Finder.
The Finder. Okay, and it's based on the Locator books. So my local library is getting those in for me. But there's an alien episode with Hodgins from Bone, and that just kind of totally reminded me of this. But it is 40% alpaca, 35% blue-faced luster, which is a breed of sheep, 10% tribal, which she told me is a softer kind of
nylon.
Yeah, it's the sparklies in it, and then 10% faux cashmere. So. And it's 3.9 ounces. And it is so awesome. I'm so excited. I love how the black just dips through that. And this is going to have to become a hat or a cowl. Or mittens. It's just awesome. It's so much fun. I love alpaca close to my neck. It's so soft.
Good to know.
Anyway, so after that, I went over to Susan's Fiber, which is out of...
Yes.
I'm trying to remember where
I don't remember, but she always has, like, every little doodad that you need. She's at a lot of these festivals when you go to her booth, but she's also got lots of cool fiber.
Mm-hmm. And she had some faux cashmere, which is something that I've been wanting to try, in the Jaded colorway by Wild Hair Fiber Studio. And I actually have some of Wild Hair Fiber Studio's Superwash Blueface Luster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little, like half of this and half of that, and probably not do it half and half. I'll do a quarter of this and half of that and make bats out of it, and then spin it into sock weights. So it'll have the superwash fiber, but also this microfiber nylon in it, so it'll be nice and soft and strong. Man. I do for this, and then I'll have half of it left over that I could blend with something else, or just spin by itself.
Yeah.
So that'll be super cool. I'm excited because people on the Harry Potter group especially have been raving about this fiber. So, feel my fiber. So,
yeah.
I'm excited to try it.
Cool.
Sometimes I get worried about spinning man-made fibers, but I think this is going to be super fun. So that's not the last thing that I bought. So next month, we have, which is June, which starts on Friday.
Yes.
We are starting our next spin-along, which is Romney for the Expand Your Horizons. So I went there looking for some Romney, and I found this awesome bag of 8 ounces. I wasn't intending to buy 8 ounces, but these people were so sweet that I just had to buy. Plus, their sheep's name is on the bag. How can you resist? And I love this color.
It's a really good price for 8 ounces, too.
Yes. So it was $16.75 for 8 ounces. It is Marshmallow Meadows, which is out of, I love how they have Louisiana certified product. So very, very cool. And this is this is the Romney that I'm going to be spinning up.
And I have some Romney that Diane sent me, so.
Yes, it's actually on my kitchen counter.
Yes, I'm going to grab it. It's funny because whenever Laura comes to my house or I come to Laura's house, we always have to say, okay, now what came that I need to take with me?
Because a lot of times, if we order something together, we'll share shipping.
Yeah, because who wants to pay for shipping?
Not I. I'm notoriously anti-shipping. And that's it for me. Okay. That's it. Like, there wasn't a whole lot.
I'll show y'all a couple of the other things that I got. So, from Lunabud Knits. And she was really sweet. I'm trying to find her card. So, this is Stephanie Stratton, and she's from Nicholasville, Kentucky. She has her own site, lunabudknits.com.
She has her own trailer. It's so cool.
Yeah, we saw her trailer. Like it pulls behind the car and it's got her graphics on it. It's really cool. Anyway, so these are some of the 1 ounce little, not bumps, braids, sections,
top,
whatever, of fiber. And she had both merino and cordell, I think, and I got all merino. So I got that purple that I was spinning, and then another purple, and then another purple and red, and then a red. So, and they were really reasonably priced. They were under $3 per ounce, and they were, they're well prepared. They're spinning really well. So, and we got a scheme. This will be in next week's giveaway, so we'll show you again. And this is called Glammy, and it's 430 yards in the colorway Verte, and it's superwash merino, bamboo, and nylon. Beautiful greens with hints of sort of a golden orange. So thank you so much, Stephanie. And this will be part of the giveaway that we do next week.
Because we just can't give away one thing at a time. We have to do a bunch all at once.
And if you've won anything from the last giveaway or the one before that, I had to order envelopes because I ran out. So they'll be here this week and your prizes will go out this week. And this last Flegel, who does the supported spindling, she also cards and dyes fiber and top. She has a mill that does the top, I think, but I believe she does her own bats. And so, the gossamer web. And this is 80% merino, 20% silk, I believe. Yes. And it's 2.5 ounces. And it's in a gradient. She does a lot of gradients, which I happen to love. So it's sort of a seafoamy green.
That's pretty.
And I really like it. Really like it. So I don't know what I'll do with this. I may, of course, spin it.
Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. This is one that I'm going to hang on to until the right thing
I have some mohair that you can force me on.
You do. You have quite a bit of mohair. I love that. They squish.
I'll have mohair for everyone taking my core spinning class.
That's good.
Yay!
You can spin them off onto little cones. Let's see. I released a pattern this week. So for those of you who were wanting to knit the Georgia on My Mind socks, I don't have any of them with me, but they're the socks with the seed stitch panel down the front. It's a free pattern and it's out. And so I wanted to say thank you to my test knitters. Beck, Lemon Half, Melissa Melia Bella, Amy J. Knitma, Anna, Wiz Girl, that was the other one. And gosh, I have someone else, and now I feel like a giant jerk. Who was the other person? Oh, Jessica, show me your knits. It's like, I know there was a fifth person, damn it. Oh. Anyway, so I released that pattern. It's called Georgia on My Mind. You can get it for free on Ravelry if you're interested. And Laura has a couple of things to say.
I'm totally adding stuff to our list.
It's getting messier.
I wanted to say happy birthday to my niece Julia, who just turned 3 yesterday. So I cannot believe that she's 3.
Herself.
Yes, I called her and she sang me happy birthday, Julia.
That is awesome.
So happy birthday to you. I know she watches the podcast, so that's
Happy
super
birthday,
fun.
Julia.
I know. 3, and Alice is 6 months old. It's insane how fast time goes. What else? Oh, I wanted to talk about 2 podcasts that I just started watching and listening to, because one's an audio.
I have a video one too.
So the first one is Down Cellar Studio. It is wonderful. I'm on episode 5, I believe. And it's just, she's multi-craftual. She talks about photography and paper craft. He's sharpening his claws on his little cardboard thing. Yeah, that's my cat. And he has to have nice sharp claws, so when he attacks my face in the night, they're nice and they actually need to be cut. So Down Cellar Studio, wonderful audio podcast. Highly recommend it. She's from the Massachusetts area.
And then you had another one, right?
The Fat Squirrel Speaks, which I already mentioned, a video podcast, which is hilarious. I'm really, really enjoying Amy Beth. So she's lots of fun. Are you going to come up here?
She is a sweetheart. Like she enjoys being a little bit more kind of crazy, but she's also like really, really smart and intelligent. She has a lot of great things to say about knitting. Like you learn by listening to her as well. I had a couple as well that I started this week. I've only watched the first episode so far of Sort of a Knitter, and it's a male podcast, and he's a younger guy, very cutesy little guy. And then also I started watching Single-Handed Knitter, and she is in Hawaii, and she oh goodness, ouch.
I told you his claws need to get cut. That's my goal for tonight.
She has an accident and now she only has the use of one hand, but she's still so happy,
so
and
positive,
chipper and positive, and really she's got a great attitude, and she still is just knitting like the wind. So I wanted to kind of give both of those podcasts shout outs. And let's see. Oh, Stash Dash.
Yes.
We tried to change the name, but you guys like Stash Dash. So that's fine. We'll just keep it Stash Dash.
So this is the first week, and in this week what we're doing is you can start your projects, and works in progress are going to count, and it's going to be the full weight of the end of the work in progress. Mm-hmm. This week is goal setting. So kind of sit down with your stash, sit down with yourself, and try to figure out what you're thinking about knitting. Like, it doesn't have to be project specific. You can say, I might want to do a pair of socks next
last year, it was a set goal. It was 5K, 5,000 meters. This year, you set your own goals. We don't want to tell you what to do. It's you set your own goals in grams, because that's the kind of the lowest denominator that we think everybody can sort of work with. And any kind of craft, fiber craft, sewing, knitting, crocheting, spinning, tatting,
whatever you
weaving,
do.
Yeah, whatever. Just you have to find a way to measure it in grams. And you're only competing against yourself. You're not competing against anybody else. Because we have so much other stuff going on this summer, We don't want it to be, that one number. We want you to work with yourself. This is from
Well, that was the biggest complaint last year, was people felt like they couldn't do that amount. It was such a large amount. So I'd rather y'all set your own goals.
Yeah.
Because the goals are a very individual thing. So there's a thread up right now, a no chatter thread to start your own goals. And the contest, because we're going to run a contest for each time period, for this week is whoever gets the most love clicks on their post within that contest, within that set your goals thread. I know he's going to shed all over. He's a furry cat.
He really is. He's a Maine Coon.
So he's also a brat. Yes.
So thank you guys for voting in the name thing. I thought you guys would want something different, but we started Stash Dash, so I guess we'll just keep Stash Dash. And we have one more announcement.
Yes.
Do you have anything else before we get into this?
No, the everything that you need to know about Stash Dash is in the Knit Girls group on Ravelry. Feel free to ask questions. There's one stickied at the top for questions, and that kind of goes through the rules and guidelines. They're more like guidelines, really.
Yeah, because if there's a way to cheat, we encourage it. Whatever.
So that's coming up, and that's about it for Stash Dash. If you have any questions, PM one of us. We'll answer them, or just put it in the thread, because someone else will have that question too.
Yeah, it's probably better if you put it in the thread, because I'm sure somebody else is wondering the same thing. So, all right, this is an SSK announcement, but it's going to be kind of a different SSK announcement. If you put your name on the wait list and you have not heard from us, this is for you. So we have had a couple of spots open because life happens, people have to drop out, it's not a big deal. But because we're on kind of a time crunch now, we're in
the last month.
Yes, there's less than a month until it starts.
So SSK is the Super Summer Knit Together. It's a retreat that we're hosting in Nashville along with Karen of Round the Twist.
And it starts June the 27th.
Sign-ups started back in October, so
September.
September. So if you didn't sign up at that point, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do to get you on the list.
Yes.
We
still have 150-ish people that we have not gotten through on the wait list. So it would be unfair for us to let anyone else in at this point. So for those people that put your name on the wait list and you have not heard from us, what we're going to do is we have 10 total spots, and they're all at Vanderbilt. So there was a booking issue at Scarrett Bennett, and so these 10 spots are for Vanderbilt, which will be off campus, and it's about a 15-minute walk or about a 2-minute.
We walked it yesterday.
Yes, or a 2-minute drive. It's just the drive you kind of have to go around, and if you walk it, it's a 15-minute slow, easy walk.
We did it in the heat yesterday,
Yeah.
so and there's Ben and Jerry's on the way.
Yeah. And Starbucks and
sushi.
Burgers, Bagels, and sushi. Yeah. So anyway, before we go any further, you have to be willing to stay off campus, and it's for a reduced price of $475 versus the $550 that it is if you're staying on campus. But on campus isn't an option for these people. So we have 10 spots. What we're going to do is we're going to open a thread on the Super Summer Knit Together board. So if you're interested, you need to go ahead and join the board, join the group so you can see.
But you already have to have signed up.
Yes, your name already has to be on the wait list. So what we're going to do is Friday, June the 1st at 1 p.m. Central Time, we're going to open a thread because we want it to be fair and transparent. We want everybody to be able to see the order that they claim a spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to open a thread on Ravelry. And at the point that thread is unlocked, you can claim your spot by replying to the thread and saying you want a spot. And that way everybody knows exactly what order those spots were claimed in, and it's totally fair and transparent.
But you have to be willing to pay by, June the 1st? No, that's after June the 1st.
Yeah, the date. You have to be willing to pay within 10 days of accepting your spot. So
all of that $475 is due within 10 days.
Not everyone can do that, and we understand, but we're up against the time deadline, so we want to make sure that the people who claim the spots want the spots and are willing to
and can come.
And you still are, aside from a couple of classes that are filled, you'll still get classes, you'll still get a goodie bag, you still have all the same rights and privileges that all the other attendees do. But you can't claim a spot if your name is not already on the wait list. We would love to be able to let everybody in, but we have to go through the wait list first. It's not fair otherwise. We'll have to find a better solution for next year. anyhow, I think that that's it. If there are any questions,
Feel free to PM us.
feel free to PM either one of us. We'll go ahead and we'll put up the thread, but we're not going to unlock it until June the 1st at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're in another country and your name's on the list, you're going to have to stalk. We wanted it at a set time, and this gives you a few days to kind of know ahead of time.
Because I hate it if I'm stalking the store and it's like, update someday, like sometime this day.
Yeah.
Because that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I never catch them.
Not that you need
It's
it.
when I go to lunch or something,
Yeah.
not that I need anything. Seriously.
Humberto is loving you.
He always loves me.
He
He
needs
loves to stick his tail in my
He
face.
needs a face cameo, though.
Oh, did you not get his face?
No, because he was looking away.
Hey, look up.
This is
He's
Humberto.
like, whatever. Let me
Humberto
go.
Algato Meow.
Yes.
And he is a purring machine. I don't know if you can hear him or not. But, yeah, so that's it. We will record regular time next week, and we'll have some prizes
Yep.
and stuff to give away. And at that point, the spots... So, the thread for the spots for SSK will be open for 3 days or until the spots are filled. If by some miracle those 3 days go and those spots have not been filled, we will figure out a way to open it to the public and have people claim spots. But 3 days have to go by first. I don't anticipate there being any spots open for the public, but I could be very wrong. So,
You never know.
yeah. Anyhow,
Alrighty.
that's it for this week. We'll see you again next week.
Bye,
Bye, y'all.
y'all.